I'm Sarah Jane Pelzer, and I'm the stage director for Amahl and the Night Visitors. This is a story about a family in a really hard situation, a mother and a son who are having a really, really hard time. And they meet these sort of fantastic characters who come into their home and help them reframe the situation that they're in. So a mother is able to see a better future for her son, and Amahl, who's such an optimistic and hopeful and effusive boy, is able to let that energy out into the world and finally go off to sort of do the things he'd always dreamed he wanted to. And for me, the piece is so fun to direct because there's so many different shades in it. Sometimes it's so beautiful. The music is hauntingly beautiful. And sometimes it's just really, really silly and really fun and really charming. It's been fascinating. It's funny because in some ways it's easier. There are some things about it that are easier. You're not having to constantly adjust the picture to make sure that the attention that you want focused on a person gets focused on that person. We can do that with the camera. We can make sure that the people are only seeing what we want them to see at any given time. So it has a lot of flexibility, but that also means 3 extra teams to have on board. So that means all these different people that we suddenly have to communicate with, and just the amount of planning has been incredible. Everybody's working so hard, and it's also something that we don't usually do. So it's a whole different system that we're all having to learn together, and it's been really incredible how it's been coming together. One of the challenges we had was that, of course, everybody has to be 3 meters apart at all times. And just to give you a sense of what that's like, if you have 3 people standing next to each other, that's like, well, it's 9 meters. It's a lot of space. And so looking at how we were going to make that feel like anybody had any relationship with each other was a really difficult thing to think about. But Patrick brilliantly has made this massive piece of architecture that goes in this really large space. The Chan where we're filming is this beautiful, huge, sort of blonde space with all this beautiful bright wood. So this is Patrick Rizzotti, and he is the set, costume, and props designer. And he's made it so that the home that they're in, even though it's so large, the way he's designed it, it makes the fact that everybody has to stand so far apart not feel important anymore. All of a sudden it does look like we're next to each other and we're close, because that's so much of what's important about this piece, is that sense of community and people feeling close together. But the beautiful thing about his design is that it just draws you in, and it really does make people feel closer together than they are. For me, all of that charm and all of that beauty and all of that warmth about it being a Christmas story and having that spirit is so integrated into the DNA of the piece that for me it wasn't as important to lean on those aspects as it was to just kind of have fun with the 3 kings and just have fun with the number 3. And mostly it's a story about a mother and her child. And so for me, the biggest change that you see in the piece is the mother going from being somebody who's so stressed by her circumstances to somebody who learns how to let go of her son a little bit in order to let him grow. I am not a religious person. I don't have a practice of religion in my life, but I think in this story, more than in most pieces that are based on a biblical tale, you see in every bit of it the humanity of the message. The message is always about figuring out how to be in a community, figuring out how to help and support each other, and really just figuring out how to let your life circumstances help you grow. And there have been a lot of messages, even just in our work, just with the circumstances changing every single day. Even just as an artist, I feel like it's constantly reminding me how to let go and find something different in your circumstance, because you can't control what happens to you, but you can control what you do with it. And I think that's the message of the piece, and I think that's what happens in the piece. And even for people who aren't trying to direct an opera in a situation where you're not allowed to sing, it's a good reminder that that there are things that come out of adversity that we couldn't have accessed otherwise. I think that it really is going to be something that it couldn't have been unless we were faced with all these massive challenges. It's going to be a gorgeous piece.